Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome everyone to this meeting of the Dunedin City Council, and our prayer today will be led by Zina Iqbal of the Baha'i community. Kia ora.
Praise be thou, O Lord, my God. Praise be thou. Every time I attempt to make a mention of thee, I am hindered by the sublimity of thy station and the overpowering greatness of thy might. For were I to praise thee throughout the length of thy dominion and the duration of thy sovereignty, I would find that my praise of thee can befit only such as are like unto me, who are themselves thy creatures, and who have been generated through the power of thy decree, and been fashioned through the potency of thy will. And at whatever time my pen ascribeth glory to any one of thy names, methinks I can hear the voice of its lamentation in its remoteness from thee, and can recognize its cry because of its separation from thyself. I testify that everything other than thee is but thy creation and is held in the hollow of thy hand. To have accepted any act or praise from thy creatures is but an evidence of the wonders of thy grace and bountiful favors, and a manifestation of thy generosity and providence. I entreat thee, O my Lord, by thy most great name, whereby thou didst separate light from fire, the truth from denial, to send down upon me and upon such of my loved ones as are in my company the good of this world and of the next. Supply us then with thy wondrous gifts that are hid from the eyes of men. Thou art verily the fashioner of all creation. No God is there but thee, the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the Most High. Baha'u'llah.
Well, we'll start the meeting with, as we usually do, public forum, and can I invite Stu Debenham, if you're here, to come up and speak to us. Up here, sir. Over here. Welcome. The microphone should be on, but if it's not, you might just have to tap the button and then it's voice activated.
Kia ora tātou, and peace be with you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak at the public forum. And the issues today are health and safety amenities go wanting while the Dunedin City Council expenses explode. Many hundreds of thousands of ratepayers' dollars were spent on Mayor Dave Cull's defamation defence last year, and over the years the Taxpayers Union and the monies used for this purpose must be paid back to the DCC ratepayer. And so, Dave, we welcome you back to the city after being away for so long, and to be our mayor for an average of 3 days a week is unacceptable.
Mr Debenham, I will assure you that you will be treated with respect here,
excuse me,
and it will be two-way. So if you continue to personalise this, I will ask you to leave.
May I finish?
No, if you continue in the same vein, you may not. So please don't personalise this.
Okay.
Stick to some facts and some neutral opinions.
You're breaking the rules of the public forum Mr Mayor, but can I continue in my 5 minutes? A serious interest in the NGNZ, which often takes you away from our city, is not on.
Mr Debenham, Mr Debenham, I've warned you once. If you continue to personalise this, I will ask you to leave. You've been warned the last time, okay?
Okay. This is not a free country, it would seem.
Point of order, Your Worship.
You were voted in as mayor
Order, just a minute. I just need to take a point of order.
to have your feet
My understanding is that, Your
on the
Worship,
ground here to run our city and not to load the mayoral
Mr
duties
Debenham,
onto
could
a
you just hold for a minute? I'm
well-paid
taking a point of order.
CEO to elected by us.
Mr Debenham, are you deaf or just stupid? Now, please wait.
sorry, Your Worship, I understand your frustration, but I almost with you apologise for that comment. But the point of order, I'm not quite sure if they do stand in these public forums, so I'm happy to take advice, is that you wouldn't allow someone to speak there on attacking any of other councillors, and I'd ask that I think you should be given the same courtesy, that we don't put up with these personal attacks without
That's
the
exactly
facts.
my point.
I appreciate that, Your Worship, and I just want to make sure that that's enunciated clearly.
Carry on.
I believe double dipping for the mayor to have a snout at two troughs at the same time while the poor people of Dunedin are struggling to find the money to pay for the proposed rates increase. The proposed rates rise an indication of the DCC inefficiency to run the city, and many ratepayers are furious at the mayor's out-of-control expenditure, and so his overseas and domestic DCC travel should be suspended until there's a decrease in rates. The mayor must consider resigning, or at least not to stand again, and as mayor he must not receive one more paycheck from the city's coffers until these issues are resolved,
Mr Debenham,
and then apologise
Mr.
to the
Debenham.
ratepayers.
can you turn that off, please? Mr Debenham, I have two things to say to you. Firstly, I apologise for implying that you were stupid. The second thing is I hold you to be repetitious, disrespectful and offensive, and I will ask you to leave now, please. And our next speaker is Mr Sadler.
Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about my concerns. I am a ratepayer. I did vote for the mayor. I don't know whether I'd do it again, but I wish to express my concerns about how the fluoride was put in the Mosgiel water supply without any type of serious referendum or consultation with the people, the ratepayers. It appears that we only have a democracy on election day in many respects. The people of Mosgiel were now not out on the streets rioting to have fluoride put in their water supply. People should be able to have a choice. We've just remembered Anzac Day, where we remembered our fallen brethren who gave their lives for us to have a choice. And I don't know whether they died in vain or not, but I do know that we so-called live in a democracy which should exist for the whole term of someone elected to a council or to Parliament. I'd like to make a statement which can be verified, and that is that Hitler fluoridated the French water supply, and he did it without a vote from the French people. And I'm sorry to say that the Dunedin City Council is doing the same thing to Mosgiel residents. And we shouldn't look down on those who voted us in, because those that vote people in are superior to those that are elected to serve them. And I'd like to say that a businesswoman in Mosgiel said to me that two unelected bureaucrats called on her to say the reason why they had to fluoridate the water supply. And they said it's safe and healthy, health and safety, and they also said that it was because of the Havelock North situation. Well, they said it had to be put in, but what they said was incorrect and in some respects dishonest. I can understand why people put chlorine in the water supply in order to kill the bugs, but fluoride is something else. It doesn't have to be put in as well, but it's an excuse for those bureaucrats that have a hidden agenda, and it's going to continue till people stand up and have their say. I'd like to say that the bureaucrats, we're told that the World Health Organization says it's good. Well, 74 nations in Europe have kicked fluoride out. They've discarded the information of the World Health Organization because many of them think they're financed by vested interests who want to dumb us down. And the reason Hitler put the fluoride in the water supply of France was not for the kiddies' teeth. The reason is that the active ingredient in 1080 poison is hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is the same thing that goes in the water supply, sodium fluoride. It is also the active ingredient in Prozac, Luvox, and the other 6 drugs that alter people's thinking. And I'd also like to say that we should have a choice in this. The very fact of mass medication is a medical lie. The first thing people are taught in med school is no two people react the same to a medication. They also say that mass medication is irresponsible simply because if I have 10 glasses of water a day and you have 1, you see the stupidity of it? People should have a choice. Our ancestors died on the battlefields around the world to give me a choice, and I lost uncles and grandfathers there, and I take my choice seriously, and I respect the dead who died to give me that choice. And I'd like to say in closing that we should have a referendum, but we should have free choice first. A referendum for fluoridation or against fluoridation. If 51% of the people vote for fluoridation, then that doesn't turn by magic a toxic waste product from the aluminium industry and the fertiliser industry into some magic bullet that solves the problems which are caused in the home by irresponsible parents who are feeding in the food chain of New Zealand excess sugar. And that's the way it should be solved. What is my remedy today? I'd like to read you. There is, I believe, a concerted effort to brand people who believe in a choice on fluoride, that they're branded as being nutters. And I want to read you 2 quick statements. One from the Honourable Peter Dunn, right? Remember him? So I say, for the benefit of the tinfoil hat-wearing, UFO abducted anti-fluoride campaigners out there still peddling the same old pseudo-science myths. There is nothing else to debate on this issue. It is over. Science has won. Well, he was an ex-politician, but here's someone with substantial references. His name is Dr. Arvid Carlson. He happens to be a Nobel Prize winner in medicine. And he says this: fluoridation is against all principles of modern pharmacology. Those nations that are using it should feel ashamed of themselves. It's against science. So I wrote a letter to the Mayor. As date, I haven't had a reply. I wrote to the ODT. They haven't seen fit in their wisdom to publish my letter. But if fair play is going to reign in our fair city and its district, we should at least give people a choice. And relating to Mosgiel, I believe, and I ask the council to put in clean water fountains there so people can have a choice. Do we live on another planet? Have we not seen what goes on Rattray Street at the Spates Brewery? People are not tinfoil hat UFO nutters. They're ordinary people in this city who do not want to consume the toxic waste fluoride. So I reiterate in closing, and thank you for your time, that the people of Mosgiel should have a choice, and they should have water fountains put in so they can have a choice and drink non-toxic water if they want to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sadler. Are you happy to take questions?
Yes.
Yeah. Questions, councillors? Councillor Van Vos.
Yeah, you've said that fluoride is in 1080, or the active ingredient of 1080. Do you have any evidence for that?
Yes, you can find it from the Department of Conservation. It kills deer. It comes out of all the toxic industrial chimneys in the world, and people are complaining about that, and it is a toxic waste, but when it is put in the water, it's so-called meant to be a magic bullet that helps kiddies' teeth. The way to stop the problem of kiddies' teeth is by cutting out the sugar, but you can look up the internet. I will find the information for you, but I've researched and I've found it. I'll provide it for you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Councillor O'Malley.
Just a point of clarity, 1080 is sodium fluoride acetate. It is not free fluoride. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions? Mr Sadler, thank you for your submission.
There's a question down there, wasn't there?
Oh, Councillor Laufiso, didn't see your hand.
Thank you for your passion, Mr Sadler. You mentioned a hidden agenda of unelected bureaucrats from the DCC. Can you elaborate, please, on that?
I didn't say DCC. I said that this businesswoman told me that 2 unelected bureaucrats turned up at her place. Where they came from, I don't know, but they told her because of the Havelock North fiasco, we had to have not only chlorine to kill the bugs in the water, we had to have fluoride. And I'm saying people have a hidden agenda. You only have to see what MP Dunn said to ridicule those who have another opinion from what the agenda of the government is, or in some cases local body.
But that's the hidden agenda you're talking about?
Beg your pardon?
That's the hidden agenda you're talking about?
Well,
dumbing down the population?
I should have said it's partly hidden, but you can find out yourself. I believe the government has an agenda to take the right to fluoridate the water off the councils where people have easy access and give it to the hospital boards. And so all of New Zealand, Christchurch will be next. They've had the best water in New Zealand, but these bureaucrats want to force that on everybody, thinking that's some remedy to the problems.
Is there another question? No. Thank you. Thank you, Mr Sadler.
Thank you.
I had a point of order, Mr Chairman. Just a matter in respect of process. We've had 2 presenters at the public forum, and we were told on the agenda they were both talking about health and safety. Arguably, neither was talking about either of those topics. The first presenter decided to make a personal attack on you, and the second presenter was talking about various things, including likening members of this council to a fascist dictator, and apparently the hidden agenda, holding a hidden agenda to exterminate the residents of Molesgill. While that might make our decisions about the Molesgill pool a lot easier, I don't think it actually reflects people's views around this table. I think there is an issue around managing the material, not what people say, but knowing what the topic is. I mean, the fact of the matter in terms of the latter presentation is that this authority has decided as a matter of policy to follow the directives of our Ministry of Health. And we all know and supported the decision that the Chief Executive made, and it was her decision, for reasons of public safety and public health, to provide Molesgill with safe water. So those are the facts, not some hysterical...
So what's the point of order you want me to...
We need to manage the accuracy of the agenda so that if people are going to come and make a personal attack, under the guise of some other topic, or dispute issues in relation to fluoridation or the Molesgill water supply, that's what the agenda should read.
The Chief Executive would like to read.
So the GSOs did discuss what they wanted to talk about with both of those 2 people, and both of those 2 people gave the topic health and safety as their stated position. It's pretty near impossible if people are coming along and are going to put something on the agenda that they don't intend to speak to. It's very difficult. Well, it's impossible for us to know that, actually.
We need to have an appropriate remedy if that happens.
Well, I'm not sure that I can address it in this one, although I would suggest that there was good grounds for the second speaker to consider that his subject was health and safety. It was of concern to him, so that's fair enough.
You just need to rule on the point of order. It's not a valid point of order.
So I won't be upholding the point of order at this point.